Hello, welcome to Bloodhaus, the show where we talk about art house horror movies. I'm your host, Joshua Conkel.
And I'm a trans woman and not a serial killer, Drusilla Adeline. Welcome to another week of Bloodhaus. Those two things get confused all the time. I'm always having to correct
really
people.
Do.
I was like, no, that's the other one.
That's a harmful stereotype. I really hoped that you're going to introduce yourself by saying, I'm a great big fat person, Drusilla Adeline.
No, I'm not going to do that, but I will do the voice later because I do it. I will. Let me just get up in front of this and say that I'm mixed on this movie. I have a history with it that we'll get into.
It's
but
complicated.
I've for years done an impression of Buffalo Bill, and my girlfriend loves when I do it. She always asks me to do it. And recently I was talking with friend of the show, BJ Colangelo, and she was like, oh yeah, whenever her wife is also a trans woman, whenever like Harmony's had a rough night out and wakes up the next morning, I always ask her to do the voice, and it's also the Buffalo Bill voice doing the exact same line. And I'm like, I don't know what it is about this. I like that this is like an unintentional, consistent thing between Midwestern trans women of a certain vintage.
We did it a lot in the Sabrina writer's room too. Like if it got quiet, somebody would go, "Was she a great big fat person?" I don't know why that started.
It's so many things about that line. It's the writing of it,
the performance,
the voice. Yeah,
we'll get into all of that, I'm sure. First of all, how are you? Killed anybody lately? No. Have you seen anything good lately?
Not that I will admit. Maybe. Yeah. I've been good.
Prove it.
Prove it, bitch. I've been doing a lot of swaps lately. The Criterion truck was just in town. I got to do that. Had a great time. Ren Fair also has been wrapping up right now. We got to go to Ren Fair a few times. And they have a little like craft like area. Part of the Ren Fair, the one in Urbandale, California, has this big craft booth area. And every year we always stop in there and see what crafts they have. And this past year, maybe they've had it every other time I've gone, but I've just never seen it. They had a printmaking one. And so literally you could either just like use linotype or linoleum stamps that they've made, and you can just like press it on paper and there you've got a thing to take home, and that's cute. Or you can pay $5 more. It's literally $5 or like $10. And they'll show you how to carve your own, and you can make your own, and you can make as many prints as you want, and then you can also take your stamp home and take your illustration home and stuff like that. And so I did it, and I fucking loved it. It was so goddamn cool. It was so fun. And so deeply satisfying. After all my recent like private commission pieces, one for Arrow that I can't talk about yet, and one for the Criterion I just did, the Big Heat, the Fritz Lang movie. Like I've been doing a lot of like hand collaging, like printing and cutting and X-Acto knives and Scotch tape. And I've also been doing like illustration on paper, like mechanical pencil on paper, scanning it in, and then using digital pencils in Photoshop and working from that. And so I've been really with the horrifying rise of like AI as a tool. Like, it's fucking disgusting to me. And thankfully, seems like blowback is going in the right direction, and more or less it seems like parts of the industry are going the right way. But every single time I see, for instance, the Screen Actors Guild posting an AI generated like starter kit thing because it's a meme that's going around, I get fucking depressed. And so being able to like, not only I don't use AI, I never use AI, I don't touch the fucking thing, but to even like get away from a computer and actually do things with my hands for the first time is amazing. I have never had any proficiency in school or before with actual illustration. I was always bad at it. I was rough at it. And it's, it's an immediate thing, and you're surrounded by people in a classroom or a lecture hall or something. and you immediately have a thing and you're not satisfied with it and you feel eyes on you and you throw it away and you get red-faced and ashamed. You don't want to do it anymore. But I've always had the desire to make it. And so working through a computer and with tablets and pens and stuff like that on a computer has allowed me to like try and push myself in that direction in private. And now I'm able to sit down with a pencil and a piece of paper and actually like draw with a certain semblance of confidence and pleasure in what I'm doing. And so going to the Ren Fair and sitting down and drawing with a pencil on a piece of paper, transfer paper, and then from there copying that over to a piece of linoleum and sitting down with, you know, little carving tools and like hand carving it out. So extremely satisfying. I cannot begin. And like, you know, the first one I did wasn't great. It was pretty close to what I wanted, but it was, you know, not entirely there. The second one was much better. I love it so much. I want to be doing so much more stuff tactily and by hand. It helps my brain so much. Granted, it probably gave me carpal tunnel. The like hour that I spent doing that really kind of fucked my wrist a little bit, but like so deeply pleasurable. And I'm trying to incorporate a lot more of that into my process right now, and it helps me in my mental faculties and like dealing with all of this by slowing things down and focusing. But also I like the work better. I like the final product more.
I'm writing a screenplay now, and for the first time ever, I'm writing by hand this draft. And people ask me like, are you writing it in screenplay format? And I'm like, yes, I am. I'm like centering the character name. So it's almost like drawing too because of that. But it's like very slow. And because it's slow, everything is more considered than it would normally be. And so I figure by the time I type it up, it's going to be a really strong first draft because I'll be, of course, naturally editing as I type. And so, yeah, I'm really loving it. I'm all about analog. And I'll tell you something else. I've done a really deep dive on AI, and there's this really cool, interesting tech journalist named Ed Zitron, who is the loudest AI skeptic. And this is a tech journalist, so he knows what he's talking about. And he's like, his theory makes a lot of sense to me. He's like, everyone is pushing AI. By everyone, I mean like corporations. Are pushing AI because for the last 25 years, the tech industry has earned so much money because there's been such constant innovation that they've been able to get money from Wall Street. But naturally, the innovation has slowed down, and AI looks to them to be the only way to get money. It's like it's the only thing they have going, and so they're determined to make it work. But the problem is it doesn't work, and it's never going to. I mean, large language models have a really good usage, which is like combing through large data sets and finding human error and stuff like that. But they can't really be creative. And Sam Altman, who owns OpenAI, is promising like artificial generative intelligence, and that's never going to
happen.
And they've already sucked up all the data there is on Earth. So unless they can find another planet full of data, they're out. And it's destroying the environment. And the biggest problem of all is it has no profit model. AI is losing billions of dollars a year. So they're essentially defrauding investors with the promise of artificial. It's exactly the same thing that Elizabeth Holmes did with her blood scam. You know what I mean? It's no different. Yeah, Theranos. There it is. So with any luck, this is all going to explode in their faces at some point.
Very much so.
It's long overdue.
Ted Sarandos saying that I think AI can make movies that are 10 times better than existing movies is bullshit. But also, why is he saying that? Netflix is hemorrhaging money.
Yeah.
And nowhere near where they were 10 years ago, let alone 15 years ago.
Well, none of the streaming services were profitable for the longest time. I think Netflix is the only one that has any profit at all. And that's why they're starting to swallow each other. Our whole town and industry chased Netflix off a cliff with a business model that was temporary. It's the same thing that the tech industry did to taxi cabs and to hotels and to every industry they've ever touched. Like, I fucking hate the tech industry, and it's not because I hate technology. I appreciate the way that tech makes our life better. But as an industry, it's like wholly destructive, and I can't stand it.
Well, it really took the playbook from the fucking housing crisis.
Yeah.
And they literally were like, how can we apply this to different... Because then they get all the money and they get to fucking, like, run away with it. And then they just leave, like, disaster in their wake. But they're fine because now they have the money and they can run off.
Ted Sarandos doesn't know a single thing about movies. Couldn't care less. Do you know what I mean? And and they came here to quote unquote disrupt Hollywood, and they sure did. And their thing was like, we're a tech company, so we're going to figure out a new, better way to make movies. And guess what? They figured out really quickly. The old way was how you make movies. Turns out there's a reason Hollywood has been making movies the same way for 100 years.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And so now they're just a traditional studio. Anyway, this is a rant. How are you? Have you watched anything cool?
I haven't been able to watch a ton of movies lately because, you know, the influx of work on my end has had me just listening to podcasts or audiobooks while I'm working, or, you know, just like junk TV in the background. And now that Ivory is working a lot more than she was previously as well, she's managing the brick and mortar My Violet location, as well as doing styling and photography work. She's very, very busy. So like we carve out time every week to go to the theater and stuff like that. But in our like downtime at home in the evening when we come home to each other, it's like, well, I'm tired, I'm exhausted. Fucking just put on junk TV or something like that.
Yeah,
so we've been like catching up on like Righteous Gemstones and
that's not junk TV.
No, that's not. We've been talking junk TV as well, but we're also like catching up on the good shows that are coming out.
Yeah.
But every now and then, if I'm like really in a state, I have to watch a movie. I have to put on a comfort movie. I've got to put on something I've seen before. I just need the nourishment. You know, we were saying last week that you need like a good influx of like pleasure viewing and like enrichment viewing to a degree. And baseline movies always feel a bit more like enrichment viewing because they feel more considered than procedural television. Which is not to dog on it, but emphatically that's what it is. And so a few nights ago, I was like, I just need to watch a movie. I need to watch a movie. I need to watch like a cozy 90s comfort movie I've seen a million times. And so I put on a movie I haven't seen in probably a decade. And I watched Whit Stillman's The Last Days of Disco.
Oh, I love that movie.
With Chloe Sevigny and Kate Beckinsale. One of my favorite movies.
Great movie.
I love it so much. And I forgot how many lines from it have like just absorbed into my lexicon throughout the years without remembering that's where it's from. Like, I would never date a man in marketing. Or there's something sexy about Scrooge McDuck.
Not wrong, either one of those. I kind of get it stuck in my head or mixed in my head with 54, which also came out.
Yeah, Studio 54 came out at the exact same time.
Yeah, so I kind of mixed them up in my head, but I saw them both in the theater when they came out. And never again.
I adore Whit Stillman, and I had rewatched Barcelona. A few maybe like a year ago or something like that before this, and I think I had also rewatched Metropolitan in the past 2 years or something like that. And I had never realized before how intertwined those three movies are outside of just like Whit Stillman's writing and his like propensity to present these yuppie characters that would normally just be dogged on or played as the villains in the background of other movies, making them like sympathetic in the foreground, but also making them foolish and moronic and full of their own like worst tendencies. But there's like actual through lines, like two characters from Metropolitan pop up in the club in Last Days of Disco, and people are like, oh my god, that's her over there, she does this now, and you're like, oh, that's the girl from Metropolitan, and that's the guy from Metropolitan. And then later in the movie, one character from Barcelona is convincing a character from Last Days of Disco to like move to Spain. And it's not only is it that character from Barcelona, but you also saw him earlier in the club playing his different character for Metropolitan. It's great. Chris Eigeman is one of my favorite actors from that era.
Looking at the cast, he's great.
So goddamn funny. I always forget that Jennifer Beals has a small role in it.
Yeah, I'm looking at Jennifer Beals is like one of the most beautiful women who has ever lived.
Oh my god. And this was like
beautiful.
Right before she got the L word. So she just has like 2 scenes to come in and yell at Chris Eigeman, who's like breaking up. He also has the great kind of like breakup gambit in that movie of like he's constantly dating all these fucking women and then we'll like break up with them and be like, it's because I realized I'm gay. I just like, it's been a part of me this whole time. And then I was watching Wild Kingdom and you know that young guy, and I looked at him and I thought, yup, I'm gay. It's Wednesday was gay day. Just so he can get sympathy and be fine. Oh my god.
Tara Subkoff was in so many cool like little 90s indie movies, and there's this one that I was in love with in high school that has a reputation amongst riot girls but has been lost and kind of forgotten. It's this movie called All Over Me that she's the star of.
Yeah,
came out in like 1997. It's set in Hell's Kitchen, very low budget, quiet little movie about 2 lesbian riot girls who fall in love. It's also the first time I saw Alicia Haley was in that movie. It was like such a major moment in like the riot girl scene, and then very quickly disappeared, along with this other movie called Girls Town, which I feel like people are starting to rediscover.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, the riot girl indie movie scene was a major moment.
I remember when I worked at an LGBTQ company that shall not be named years ago, and I was researching great 90s queer films that had like fallen by the wayside to like hunt out and then hopefully trying to find funding to restore. And All of Me was like on the top of my list because I was trying to see it and I couldn't get it anywhere.
Yeah.
Thankfully, All Over Me. Thankfully, everything else from that era that I was looking into has like since now been restored by different parties and stuff like that. But all Over Me is still missing. The incredibly strange adventure of 2 girls in love was restored.
That was
and put back out.
First queer movie, and it was major for me.
It's
major touchstone.
It's so gentle and so sweet, and it's literally movie. Like it takes the like 80s John Hughes formula kind of onto like a 90s lesbian film. It's so good.
That's such a good movie. And then oh god, what was I just thinking about? Oh, have you ever seen Ma Vida Loca?
I haven't.
Oh, it's so good. It's from the early 90s, and it's about it's set and filmed in Echo Park in the early 90s. Female filmmaker Allison Enders, I think her name was.
I love her.
And it's about like Latina gangster girls in Echo Park, and they're all non-actors. They're like real girls from the neighborhood with their like drawn on eyebrows and their baggy dickies, and it's so good. It's so sweet and funny, but totally lost. I mean, I think it's on YouTube probably, but it's so good. And if you love LA, it's a great LA movie.
Oh my god, that's so cool. I did just see Allison Anders. I'm a big fan of Allison Anders. I do love Border Radio and a lot of her other films. I just saw that she and Sean Baker have been hanging out a lot in LA recently.
Ooh, she directed a few episodes of Riverdale.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so she gets work, but you know, I would rather she was making movies instead of Riverdale. But
I know. I very much watching Last Days of Disco again. I very much both miss so many of the actors from that movie who, you know, now will make a bit part in something like the town Miss Maisel or something like that. But like, and be like, oh hey, cool, neat, cute. But I miss the like very stylized dialogue of the 90s. The Whit Stillman dialogue is so specific and so stilted. Like I used to always quote the Chris Eigeman bit from Barcelona to my friends all the time, where he's like, been reading a lot while I've been recovering, and I keep seeing all these people talking about subtext and, you know, and the meaning behind things and why it's there, and they all want to talk about subtext, and I get that, I understand that, but like they never want to, like, but what's the thing above subtext? They never talk about it. The text? Okay, you're right, but they don't talk about it.
He's so funny. He's such a great, like, neurotic character actor.
Oh my god, I get extremely excited when I see him in anything. And Ivory had never seen Last Days of Disco before, and she had a really good time with it, but was like, "Damn, these people are mean and awful to each other." And I'm like, "Yep, that's the point." And I remember at the end, she was like, talking about Chris Eigerman's character, she was like, "He's the worst. He's awful." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's who he always plays.
That's who he is.
Yeah." The only one where he's like not an absolute monster is like maybe Kicking and Screaming, the Noah Baumbach movie.
Yeah.
But like he's always a piece of shit. He's actually like the one good one in Metropolitan. But like among those kids, it's all gonna be bad. He did have a great small role in Amanda Kramer's movie Please Baby Please a couple years ago with Andrew Riseborough and Cola Scola and Demi Moore, which I will always be recommending that movie. If you haven't seen Please Baby Please, seen it. Highly recommend. I'm glad Cola Scola is having a moment. Demi Moore is obviously back. But Andrew Riseborough and Harry Melling fucking eat that movie up. It's absolute queer joy, that film.
Cola Scola is like one of the funniest people on the planet. It's so demented and delightful. Well, I guess this is a 90s episode because I also watched a great 90s movie, and one that I had never seen before somehow, but I had always heard of it. I watched the late 90s Australian indie crowd pleaser, The Castle. Have you ever watched this?
I haven't. I've been wanting to for years because literally whenever I listen to Brett Goldstein's podcast, Films to Be Buried With, and they have any kind of Australian on, and they're like, "What's the funniest movie you've ever seen?" or "What's a movie you've rewatched a lot?" They always say The Castle.
It's so good. It's so darling without being annoying. It's very sweet and kind, but it's about like a working class family who lives by the airport, and the airport wants to expand. So the government is going to forcibly take their neighborhood and level it to expand to the airport. And so they're trying to save their neighborhood. And it's, the family's very quirky. It has the vibe of like, kind of like a white trash Royal Tenenbaums, like they're very quirky. It's just, it made me feel so good. It felt so nice. The family are like bogans, which is like what Australians call, white trash people. But the movie loves them and is very warm to them. It's not making fun of them. It kind of feels like Kath and Kim. If you've ever seen the Australian sitcom Kath and Kim, if you mix that with like Royal Tenenbaums, that's kind of what you're getting. And it's like such a joy. And I don't know, not much else to say besides it's super good. And I loved it. And it made me feel really nice on
That's
a day
awesome.
when I felt bad. Yeah.
I've been meaning to watch it for a long time. Is it available? I know like Miramax put it out in the 90s.
Oh God. It's only on that weird app, once again, that's been coming up so much called Fandango at Home.
Oh yeah. The formerly Voodoo.
Was.
Yeah.
Right. Formerly known as Voodoo, which that's been coming up so much in my movie club, which is what I watched this with too. So maybe it's on Prime. I don't know, but we all used
Fandango at home. I honestly, whenever I need to if I have to rent something digitally, I use that rather than Amazon or Apple. Like Amazon and Apple have really made themselves the two online digital video stores, and I don't want to support either. I don't want my money going to fucking Apple. I don't want my money going to fucking Amazon. I'd much rather my money go to Fandango and then the studios. And it used to be, when it was Vudu, it was owned by Walmart.
Right.
And they had stuff free with ads, and that's how I saw Cruising for the first time. Was interspersed with Walmart ads.
Well, I watched it with my movie club that is on Monday nights, and we do it through we do it by text, so we're all at home watching it, and it's like a big movie group run by Dylan Dawson, our mutual friend.
Yeah.
And there's probably 100 people in it. Not everyone shows. Usually it's 10 or 20 people show up, but there's not to brag, but very cool people are in that group. So I feel very special.
Jealous.
But I think that he has been sending us to Fandango at Home for the same reason. I think probably he's just trying to avoid Amazon and Apple.
Yeah. I very much trust him. I would really say I know that a lot of the Miramax library has been kind of chopped up and moved around since the Weinstein
the troubles
of it all. Yeah. And I would have to check Fandango at home to see what the licensing things are, but the castle is more than likely with the rest of the Miramax library now and owned by Paramount.
Oh,
because I know, for instance, the Grifters, which I did for Criterion, they licensed it from Paramount. Trainspotting is now with Paramount from Miramax. A good majority of that got sliced up. I think all the Tarantino stuff got bought by Lionsgate, except for Pulp Fiction. So the majority of it is all the Paramount now. So, like, you know what? I would love to see the Criterion Collection to the castle. They do.
It's totally worthy of the Criterion Collection. It's beloved in Australia.
It's beloved in Australia
and here as well, but
but it's much smaller here. They absolutely do comedies like that all the time. Princess Bride and the In-Laws and all that stuff. Like, I would be extremely happy if they did that. I would love to see that happen someday.
You would love this movie. I know your taste, and it's so good. It's so funny and smart and sweet and just the best.
I'll probably watch it this week. I've got something else lined up that I'm watching this week that I feel like is going to be something that you are going to love. So if I like it as much as I think I'm going to, I'll then send it to you for recommendation. But
okay, good.
I won't mention it until then because I don't want to be wrong. I don't want it to be bad.
Well, you already know what we're watching this week because we said it up front. It is a classic, and it's huge in the horror and art house, and just this is a very mainstream movie in terms of its scope. From 1991, directed by Jonathan Demme, it is The Silence of the Lambs.
You spook easily, Starling?
Not yet, sir.
He's past the others. The last cell. I'll be watching. You'll do fine.
A killer is on the loose.
Keeps them alive for 3 days. Then he shoots them, skins them, and dumps them.
A rookie FBI agent is on his trail.
He's got real physical strength, cautious, precise, and he's never impulsive. He'll never stop.
But in order to track him down, she'll have to match wits.
I'll help you catch him, Clary.
Believe me, you don't want Hannibal Lecter inside your head.
With the darkest of all minds.
Just do your job, but never forget what he is.
Oh, he's a monster. Pure psychopath. So rare to capture one alive.
I saw this as a little kid. I mean, the movie was probably pretty new. I probably saw it in like 1992, 1993, which would have made me, like 12.
So you didn't see it in theaters, though.
No. I was 10 years old when this was in theaters. Like, my mom was not always the most attentive mom, but she would not have taken a 10-year-old to go see Silence of the Lambs. Although I was recently telling my friend Danny, he asked me what the first movie I ever saw in the movie theater was, and I remember it, and it's a crazy one. The first movie I ever saw in a movie theater was Raising Arizona.
That's awesome.
Isn't that crazy?
That's
I was
so
like
cool.
6.
That's awesome. I genuinely don't remember the first thing I saw in a movie theater. I know I was dragged to a lot of stuff. So
I only remember because I was old. Because again, my mom was like, I'm not taking a small child to a movie theater. Like, what a waste. I might as well throw money into a fire. You know what I mean? Like, that was her point of view, which is fair enough.
Fair, yeah. I had an older sibling, and so like there was a lot of like, there was a lot of being pulled to stuff, so I genuinely don't remember.
Yeah.
And I don't I remember my first handful of memories in the movie theater, but my first handful of memories aren't of the movies I was seeing. It was of being in the theater, of like seeing the little arcade that was built into the theater in the 90s, and like seeing posters up for movies I wanted to see but could never see because I was too young at the time, running away from the posters for the horror movies, being in line for concessions with my dad. Like, those are my like earliest memories of being in movie theaters. And then after that, it's, yes, of course I saw Anchorman in theaters. Yes, of course I saw like Elf in theaters and shit like that. But like I definitely saw stuff before that.
Right. This is a movie that I've always loved since the very first time I saw it. And in recent years, however, it's come under fire, I think rightfully so. And or, for
should be
fair
noted that
reasons
it
are
did
fair.
come under fire when it first came out as well.
I guess that's true, but I was just too young to be involved in that conversation. So in my purview, it only came under fire later.
Yeah.
Or my awareness later. So what's your history with this like? I mean, you're a trans woman. This movie is arguably extremely transphobic. What's your history here?
It's interesting. This was a handful of movies weren't that big in my household. Outside of my mother would always take us to the library and be filling us full of like Mel Brooks and Abbott and Costello and the Marx Brothers and John Hughes and Tom Cruise and things like that. We're very much raised on like her childhood diet of movies. So the Muppets and Clue and things like that. My dad never really talked about movies. They weren't like important to him, but what he would talk about was Silence of the Lambs and Hannibal, the pseudo sequel with Julianne Moore. And my first memory of Silence of the Lambs being in my orbit was there's a kind of popular morning radio show in Indianapolis, in just broader Indiana, called Bob and Tom, the Bob and Tom morning show, which is like two guys that have been doing it since like the 70s or 80s, still do it today. And it's very much like a cycle for like touring stand-up comedians always come on there and then promote their stuff. And so like Jim Gaffigan, who's from Indiana, and a lot of people like that would always be on there. And my parents would always play it in the morning when they were getting ready for work and we were getting ready for school. And that was like the sounds of that always covered our house. And then on the car ride to school. And I vividly remember them joking about this movie. When I was very young, and of course, the thing they were joking about was the Goodbye Horses scene.
Yep.
And I remember being like, what?
Yeah.
What? First of all, why would that be a movie? And second of all, huh? And so then that kind of led I think my dad also heard that and then was also talking about like, oh, that's the scariest movie I've ever seen. And then like for years would like tell my brother and I scenes from The Silence of the Lambs and scenes from the like Ray Liotta scene at the end of Hannibal in explicit detail, like shot by shot what was happening in each of them. And I was always like, oh my God. I don't fully remember when I saw Silence of the Lambs for the first time. It probably would have been on TV. Not long after that. I definitely didn't like hunt it out based on that recommendation, but I definitely was aware of it and then saw it that way. And I remember being like pleasantly surprised that it wasn't as scary as I thought it was going to be. And was like, oh, okay, cool. Awesome. I'm not terrified by this. I'm enjoying this. It gets a little bloody and scary, but I have commercial breaks and I'm sure they're cutting out worse things. My important memory of it from that era, though, was by the time I was a teenager, I was already like well aware of my, I'll say, issues with gender identity. And with by that point I did have the words for transgender identity, that I did have all of that, but it was the mid 2000s and I couldn't do anything about that. That was the people that were carted out on the Oprah Winfrey show to be prodded and poked and interrogated. And that terrified me. And so I was like, okay, cool. So that's a thing I'm just going to have to bury down and hide and live with for the rest of my life. That's great. And I was also like dealing with my sexuality at the time. And I had attempted to come out as just being bisexual to a group of friends, which didn't go over well.
Wow.
Unsurprisingly. And the like nexus of that period of time being not great for me and being harassed by those people and by the school body at large, because I was the one out kid, even though I tried to walk it back at the time. Halloween came around, and a friend of mine was then dating my ex-girlfriend at the time, and they were like, hey, you should come over, like, we're having some people over for Halloween, so like come over, we're gonna watch horror movies and hang out in the basement. And I was like walking distance, so I walked over. One other girl showed up who was very much like the mean girl in our friend group, which made me nervous, but I was like, whatever. I'm with my ex-girlfriend who's still like flirty with me, and my best friend who is now dating my ex-girlfriend, and then someone who I know fucking hates me and likes taking shit out on me. This will be great. And I remember their parents had like come back from Walmart. They'd like their parents like, oh, you're having a movie night over, we'll go buy you some horror movies. And they just came back from Walmart with whatever they could find. And they came back with Silence of the Lambs, Blackenstein, Blackula. These were all white kids. I don't know why these were some of the selections, but they were. And then I think the first Saw movie or something like that.
Okay.
And so it was like, okay, let's watch Silence of the Lambs, and then we'll watch Blackenstein second was the choice. And the other girl was like harassing me the whole movie, and I was just kind of like, I like this movie. I know I like this movie. I'll just focus on this movie and have a good time. And then the Goodbye Horses scene came up, and that girl decided to start saying transphobic stuff to me and about me, which I was only just then dealing with myself.
Yeah.
And she was just like going off on a transphobic rant and speculation based on me having come out as just being bisexual. And I was like 13 or 14. I got so red-faced and embarrassed, and I was like, do they know? How could they know? Oh my God. I got really mad. I got really freaked out, and I faked a text from a family member, and I was like, I need to leave. Sorry, I gotta go home. And I left in the middle of the movie, and I like cried on the whole walk back to my house. Got back home. My mom wasn't there. A lot of that period she was dating, so I would just be on my own with my dog. And came home, and weirdly enough, TCM was doing a Halloween thing, and it was like a big deal because it was the first time TCM was going to be showing Night of the Living Dead. And so I just flipped it over to that and watched a little intro to Night of the Living Dead, and then watched Night of the Living Dead for the first time and hugged my dog. So that's my like childhood connection to Silence of the Lambs, and I've seen it a lot more since then and revisited a few times since then. But that is a really important film experience for me that's never left.
Right.
That level of like shame and paranoia has kind of always been attached to this movie for me.
I think this movie is incredibly well made and acted.
Oh, extremely.
I mean, it's a great movie. Great movie on the craft level. I do think that the movie is transphobic. It seems to have transphobic impulses. I am not a trans person, so it's easy for me to grapple with this movie both being transphobic and good at the same time. Many trans people don't feel that way, and they can't overlook the transphobia, which I understand. But then there's this other argument that the movie is not transphobic because Buffalo Bill is not a real transgender person, according to the movie's own dialogue. But I don't know. I feel wary of that argument because I don't think that the movie knows the difference. I think it's still operating from a transphobic perspective, but you tell me what you think.
I mean, okay. I don't want this to be an entire episode of just like beating a dead horse. So we won't do this for the entire thing. I will just say that right now. And I will also say, of the two of us, I think I'm like one of the biggest Jonathan Demme fans. Not like in the room and like around. I'm such a huge fan of his, and like the fact that he went from doing a Spalding Gray movie and a Talking Heads concert film, the greatest concert film ever, to something wild and Married to the Mob, and following that all up with this movie is insane.
Yeah.
And this movie is so goddamn good and so well made, and Demme put a lot of effort and work into making this as great as it is, down to like having Tibor Kalman from M & Company do the opening title design, who like also worked a lot with Talking Heads and David Byrne and stuff like that, so that the letters are all just slightly off to give you just a very subtle unease.
It looked like the Twin Peaks font to me.
It's very similar. It's got that like outlined edge, that heavy stroking. But if you look at the title card for the movie and all the subsequent credits, but especially the title card, the N and the E and everything is like just slightly tweaked. It's just like slightly to the right. It's slightly off. The kerning in between them is not exactly right. It's almost right, but it's not. And it's extremely subtle, and it's all designed to just subconsciously put you on like the wrong foot. And I think that's great. For me, the issue with this comes from, on one hand, the issue with any horror film and thriller based on the violence of Ed Gein and the story of the Ed, because that was very much the influence for Thomas Harris's Source novel, in the same way that it was the source for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Psycho. And for as much as, yes, in the text of the novel and in the dialogue that Anthony Hopkins has with Jodie Foster, it is explicit that Jamie Gum, Buffalo Bill, isn't a trans individual and is someone that was abused as a child and has tried on a lot of different hats and tried on a lot of different identities throughout their time. And there's like hints of that in the production design of his house later on. There's like stuff from like white power movements and like neo-Nazi groups that are all tucked away in there. And there's a lot of discussion of like, well, this can't be a trans person because trans people are inherently meek individuals.
Right, passive.
And it's like,
not to my
I understand why you would say that in this context, but also that's bullshit. But like, I get the like, that's kind of the party line that needs to be presented this time, to say that trans people aren't like violent and going to like assault people in bathrooms, which that's correct. They're not going to. That's really important. But also saying that as just an overall personality trait is,
and frankly,
bad.
I'm surprised that the movie even makes that effort.
Me too.
You know, like,
and we've had similar conversations with other films like this in the past. Brian De Palma's Dressed to Kill. Go listen to our commentary track on that. I think that movie makes more of an effort to discuss actual trans identity and transition, also incorrectly, and I have more grace for that movie. But Lamb's,
the intentions feel more malicious here than they do in Dressed to Kill, to me.
They do, and there's a lot of discussion from Anthony Hopkins' character about how Jamie Gum isn't a trans person, and we know that because they've been denied sexual reassignment surgery by physicians. And it's like, well, first of all, a lot of physicians deny sexual reassignment surgery to actual trans people all the fucking time, and that's an awful thing about this country, especially in the 90s and the 80s. So you can't go off that. But also, like, the movie is using the imagery of, quote unquote, a man in a dress to visually signify something isn't right in the same way that Tipper Coleman's type design is doing that at the beginning. It's making things off balance and different and weird, quote unquote, within the guise of a horror film and a thriller, to make things off base, and so you know you're in danger because that's what the monster looks like. It looks more monstrous that way.
Yeah.
Like, the dragon can't look like a prince, it has to look like a dragon. And to that point, the other thing, and the thing that I think is the most transphobic about this movie, the most like trans exclusionary radical feminist about this movie, the turfiest thing about it, I'm sure unintentionally, but very much so, is there's a lot of great interviews with Jodie Foster about this movie. She came off her first Academy Award win for The Accused, and in which she plays a rape victim, and she very much wanted to change her public image, and she wanted to play a more heroic character. She read the book that this was based on and wanted to play Clarice Starling so bad. She tried to buy the rights, and then when she found out that Orion was making it, she tried to get in it when Gene Hackman was going to direct it, and then that fell apart. And then Jonathan Demme got it and tried to put Michelle Pfeiffer in the lead, and she thought it was too violent and said no. And so, like, Jodie Foster's been connected to the book for a long time and wanted this role really bad. And in interviews talking about it, she talks about how she read the novel as being a feminist fairy tale, about how it is a woman surrounded by men. She's the like sole woman other than Cassie Lemons in the FBI. And there's so many shots throughout the movie where she's like the tiny woman around the big men, especially in the elevator near the beginning, and all the like training montages at the FBI and
the rural cops.
The rural cops, the autopsy scene especially kind of hammers that home. And she's a woman in a man's world trying to save women. And she talks about how that's a big, like, contemporary fairy tale update, and mentions how, to that point, the monster of the film is a man imitating femininity and trying to steal femininity from women and use it as a lure and as a trap, because Jamie Gumb is abducting and murdering plus-size women so that he can skin them and build a skin suit from them to quote-unquote live within a woman's skin. And Jodie Foster discusses this as kind of a Red Riding Hood narrative, as this is the wolf like wearing grandma's clothes kind of thing.
Yeah, interesting.
And that's so fucking turfy. That's so fucking like trans and misogynistic in the worst fucking way. That's so gross.
Did she say that then, or was this recently?
That was either in the 90s or early 2000s. Whenever
I wonder if she would still
video
feel
EPK
the
was
same way. Like, I wonder if she would still have the same take. I don't know.
I think that was her impetus for falling in love with the book and wanting to make the movie, and then that was also her line in whatever 98 99 when she did the commentary track, or the 2000 whatever when she did the DVD special features. But like, yeah, man, that's awful.
Shitty.
That's and that, I feel like, you know, all the discussion around the movie of whether it's transphobic or not, again, in text it's technically not, but that technically has a massive asterisk on it, and it's doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah.
It's the images. And then there's a lot of hand wringing about like the public didn't get it, and a lot of blaming, like, you know, well, simple stupid America doesn't get it because simple stupid America is simple and stupid. So they're going to look at it and they're so that's their own biases that they're bringing to it. And it's like,
I don't think that's true.
That I mean, maybe, but you are inviting it by simply presenting this narrative and making the choice of this character, making the choice of these images. I love Q Lazarus. I love the song Goodbye Horses. I love it when Jonathan Demme uses it Married to the Mob even more.
Yeah.
That's my favorite Jonathan Demme movie. Although it's not making sense. But that scene is presenting you an image. It's presenting you an image of a man who has been presented throughout the movie as a violent kidnapper and murderer of women, dressing up as a woman, and it also presents something that is constantly used by transphobic medical professionals and people in the right to attack trans identities with like autogenophilia, the idea that they just want to fuck themselves, and this thing straight from this movie, straight from that. It was actively extremely harmful. And when the LGBTQ community picketed this movie in 91, I don't know, Jodie Foster has been a little like up in arms since then about being like, I'm a lesbian, so like I think it's fine. And it's like, well, Jonathan Demme, on the other hand, had a straight man his entire life, but like extreme, like the one thing about his movies that's a through line, despite what genre he's in, he's a very gentle and humanist filmmaker. And that's one of the things that makes Silence of the Lambs so good, is that he's not just focused on the genre stereotypes and the set pieces. He's having a lot of fun with those because he doesn't really do them typically, but all of the like fun spark of humanity that's in Something Wild is also in this. And he was like that as a person. And so after this movie came out and he saw it being picketed by those groups, he had a lot of friends who were queer, a lot of them, a lot of friends that were trans. And they pointed out why that was an issue. He never thought about it beforehand, put two and two together, and then worked with his queer friends to develop Philadelphia as a response. And I know a lot of people that don't like Philadelphia, and they think that Philadelphia is like cheap and quick and just a pat on the back, especially while the 90s the new queer cinema movement was really, really big. But it's I think it's worth like, I think Philadelphia is an incredibly well-made movie, and I think after winning Best Picture and all the accolades that Silence of the Lambs got, using all of your industry clout to make the most big budget pro queer and like sympathetic towards the AIDS movement possible that you could make is like a really good movie and a really good move and really, really commendable. And getting like Tom Hanks and Bruce Springsteen on your side for that is like, it's very great. Jonathan Demme has always been kind of viewed as like, you know, a kooky New York East Coast liberal, but like he's always making movies about middle America. That's his whole thing. This movie's about Appalachia. That's like that's the stuff I love about his movies. And I think the issues with Lambs goes to Thomas Harris. But
yeah, I mean, I think that's a very gracious interpretation. I started it with this, and it's just kind of the way that I feel is that I do feel that this movie is transphobic. And I do feel that this movie is really of the highest quality. And I think both of those things are true at once. And I live with those kinds of conflicts with movies all the time, but I totally understand if someone can't live with that conflict in regards to this movie. I totally get that.
Yeah. I mean, I still rewatch it. I just not as much as Dress to Kill, not as much as Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah. I love this movie. Well, let's talk about the good stuff. One thing that I noticed on this watch that I really liked a lot, and it speaks to like Jonathan Demme's interest in human behavior and humanity. Anytime that Clarice is talking to an authority figure, either like her boss or Hannibal or the psychiatrist at the asylum.
Oh my God, that piece of shit.
God, I love that character. The performance of him is so deliciously slimy.
Dr. Chilton.
Her eyeline is normal, and then their eyeline, they're looking straight into camera.
Yep.
So you feel like they're looking into you as the viewer, and they feel like an authority figure to you as the viewer. I just thought that was such a good choice.
Yeah. Jonathan Demme is like, and also his cinematographer Tak Fujimoto, who is like so goddamn incredible. Again, all you have to do is look at the reunion scene in Something Wild to just like be in awe of him. Demi loves shooting straight down the barrel at actors. It's like
actors hate doing it.
Actors hate doing it, and people will always tell you film professors will always tell you not to do it. My directing professor in college was a gay man from Indiana, and was also a scuba diver, and so, like, he and I got along extremely well. And his big thing that his big reference point that he would always teach kids was Jonathan Demme movies. He would always bring Jonathan Demme movies to class as a reference point for blocking, for staging, for character motivation, and for like where to place the camera and why. Because Demme put so much thought into what were just perceived as like fluffy genre movies. And he does an incredible job at it. He brings that like Yoshijiro Ozu like straight into the camera thing to these movies for a reason. It's not Wes Anderson playing around in an aesthetic. It has an emotional through line that really works. He does it in Married to the Mob. He does it in Something Wild. He does it in Melvin and Howard. I think it's really great, and it fully puts you in her shoes the whole way through. And also the texture and tone of this movie is so great. But part of the other reason he does that is he also does it with like throwaway like background characters to a degree. The like pan through the rural cops at the funeral home is incredible. I saw an interview with him talking about Something Wild a few years ago, and he's one of the many directors that came out of the Roger Corman film school alongside Coppola and Scorsese and people like that. Roger Corman is in Silence of the Lambs in a really fun cameo, as is George Romero. But he always said that Corman preached that you should always cast interesting extras or supporting players as much as possible, because invariably you're going to have to cut to them. You need a reaction shot. They need to say their line of dialogue, and you have to cut to them. And for the like 15 seconds or however long you're on that person, it's their movie. They're the star for that moment. So they need to be interesting and they need to be charismatic. And you as a filmmaker need to be treating them as if they are the star in that moment and with that kind of grace. And so he's always filling his movies with so many great character actors. And it's not like cameos for cameo's sake in the way that like a lot of those recent Wes Anderson movies are. Like, you've got Roger Corman over there, and you've got Charles Napier and people like that giving little, but it's all useful. It's all compelling. They're all very in character. Chris Isaac has a little cameo, as like a member of the SWAT team. Kenneth Utt, who's kind of his go-to producer for years, has such a like specific look and is always in these movies. Who's the character actor who plays the guy that like works at a lab or something that kind of has
with the lazy eye who's
always like flirting with her?
I love him in this movie.
He's so good in this, and he's in a bunch of other Jonathan Demme movies. He's one of Dean Stockwell's like go-to mobsters in Marriage to the Mob. It's Chris Isaac is also in. So goddamn good. I think Tracy Walter is also in this from Repo Man and from Something Wild, who, like, if you say character actor to me, I'm thinking of Tracy Walter. Like, dude was in the fucking 89 Batman, and he was in a Rumblefish, and he was in your buddy's movie, Death to Smoochie and Junior.
He's Danny's best friend, one of Danny's best friends.
Conan the Destroyer. Like, he's amazing. And if you need someone to show up for 30 seconds and play a weird little guy and be extremely believable as that dude from Kentucky, like, selling bourbon, it's going to be Tracy Walter.
I mean, he's kind of like the Peter Lorre of the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, he very much is.
Also, this movie has the wonderful character actor Brooke Smith as the girl in the pit, who's always such a delight when she shows up. She's in this movie. Someone just commented on our podcast on Spotify when we're talking about how there aren't any Easter movies. And they're like, I just spent Easter watching Series 7, which is a movie I haven't thought of in at least 20 years. Oh, I want to watch Series 7.
It's so bad. I haven't seen that. I really, really want to.
So good. It's really good. And she's the star of it. And she's really wonderful in it. And I think that she was on at least early seasons of Grey's Anatomy. Or
cool.
Like she's like a very successful TV actor and character actor, and she's great in this as the girl in the pit.
And her mom, the senator, is played by Diane Baker from fucking Marnie in Straight Jacket. She's got like, she literally brings the like Hitchcock William Castle grace to this movie. And of course the like love the suit is like such a great little moment. It's such like lovely touch.
This movie feels so Diane queer. Baker.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
Lecter feels like a bitchy gay man. You know, he's like, the answer's not down there in your second-rate shoes. You know, you feel like with your good bag and your cheap shoes, you feel like a rube. He feels like a gay man, like just referencing like foodie stuff or literature and just insulting people's clothes. This movie does feel pretty queer on top of being transphobic. You know?
I will quickly say the character actor we were thinking of earlier, his name is Paul Lazar.
Mm-hmm.
Not only is he in Lambs and Married to the Mob and Philadelphia and Rachel Getting Married and like 17 other Jonathan Demme movies, he's also in Bong Joon-ho's The Host and Snowpiercer.
Ooh, I love both of those movies.
He's like the American scientist in The Host at the beginning of the movie that's like, we made something bad.
Oh, wow. I need to rewatch that, I guess. I thought he was kind of sexy in this movie. Like when he's flirting with her and she's like, are you flirting with me? And he's like, yes. I don't know. I kind of blushed. I was like, he's handsome. Is that weird?
He is your type.
I famously like do like a weird little guy.
You do like a weird little guy. If I had to date a weird little guy from this movie, it would be Tracy Walter. I'll be honest. Or but okay, but fucking Chris Isaac is right there. Never mind. I mean, Chris Isaac's so hot.
Has anyone ever been as beautiful as Chris Isaac was in the 90s?
In the Wicked Game music video or in Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me? Oh my god. Speaking of great character actors in this movie and queerness, Cassie Lemons, who, if you need someone to play a white girl's best friend in a horror movie in the 90s, you get Cassie Lemons. She's incredible in Vampire's Kiss and School Days. She's like Jodie Foster's roommate, and they're like, there's a lesbian relationship going on there, very, very much so. But it also should be noted that Cassie Lemons started the 90s with this small role in Silence of the Lambs, and then ended the 90s directing Eve's Bayou, one of the best art horror films of the decade.
I didn't put those two people together. I had no idea.
Yeah. That's the director of Eve's Bayou, just hanging out in like the corner of this movie.
I should have known that from the horror noir documentary, I guess, which I was thinking about when I saw her, because I was thinking of the great bit in that documentary when Rachel True from The Craft is talking about her career. She's like, I spent my whole career saying, are you okay? Girl, are you okay? Are you okay? Just like as the black friend to a white girl. Are you okay? Are you okay? It was like, wow, that's brutal.
That's very much the role that Cassie Lemons played there for a minute. She spends literally all of Candyman being like, girl, don't.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Maybe don't. What are you doing?
Well, good for her. I mean, Eve's Bayou is like an incredible movie.
Eve's Bayou is a fucking 11 out of 10. That's so amazing. And I think Demi helped produce for her or something like that. I don't know. But Jonathan, that should also be noted that Jonathan Demme as a producer was extremely generous and kind and helped get a lot of things off the ground. He produced Miami Blues and got like George Armitage's career off the ground, which is great because then we wouldn't have Grosse Pointe Blank.
Mm-hmm.
he also produced the Charlie Kaufman movie adaptation. And like and of course Tom Hanks's That Thing You Do.
Yeah.
Which
I love that.
I love that movie.
I saw it twice in the movie theater because of all the cute boys in it.
That movie is chock full of cute boys.
Yeah, every cute boy in the 90s. Those songs are good too.
Written by the bass player from Fountain of Wayne.
Yeah.
So Stacy's mom is doing That Thing You Do.
This movie, of course, won Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Film Editing, and Best Sound. It was the third movie to ever win all of the 5 major awards. Only the third. The one before this was like Cuckoo's Nest, maybe.
And of all the Best Picture winners ever, it's one of the only genre movies. It's one of the only horror movies, because Westerns and stuff like that. But like, that's ridiculous.
And people talk about it all the time about how, like Lupita Nyong'o deserved to be nominated for Us. Mm-hmm. Toni Collette deserved to be nominated for Hereditary. And people get really mad that, more horror movies aren't considered for Academy Awards. And I think that there are many that are good enough to be and deserve to be. And I don't know why they aren't, but I don't know. I feel like I don't need that personally. And you know what I mean? I don't know. Part of the fun of like being a horror fan is that it's outsidery, or traditionally
niche,
was. But yeah.
I mean, on paper, this should have been a more niche outsidery movie. I mean, Jonathan Demme had made some kind of big comedies in the 80s, but they weren't that big. Married to the Mob being the biggest. And like, this was technically a sequel to Manhunter, which wasn't that big when it came out.
Yeah.
Orion was really small and was mostly just putting out Woody Allen movies. Orion was kind of seen as like an indie distributor. They're the ones that put out a lot of Pedro Almodovar's movies initially in the US. So like I can understand why it wasn't seen as like, why it would have been seen as like, a little cheapy thriller. But like, you've got also Anthony Hopkins wasn't well known in America yet. He'd been in The Elephant Man, but he was mostly just doing British films and plays at that time.
Yeah, he got this because of his performance in The Elephant Man, and also because Sean Connery turned the role down.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
And on the woman's side, you mentioned that Jodie Foster got this because she championed the project so much, but as you mentioned, Michelle Pfeiffer turned it down. Also, Meg Ryan turned it down because of the subject matter. Mm-hmm. At some point, Laura Dern was in consideration, but the studio felt like she wasn't bankable enough. Molly Ringwald auditioned, but was too young, or seemed too young for the role. So it could have been any number of people. I mean, other people did an audition, but were considered: Al Pacino, De Niro, Dustin Hoffman.
My God.
Like anyone you can think of was probably considered at some point before it went to these two actors who are both so fucking exceptionally good.
Yeah. I will say, I really enjoy watching Anthony Hopkins movies from kind of before this, because I feel like Al Pacino, when he got his Oscar for Scent of a Woman, started doing the hoo-ah Al Pacino a lot more after that. And I do kind of feel like Anthony Hopkins kind of got, to a degree, set into a little box of doing his little Hannibal Lecter a lot for a while there. It was either that, or he would be like sweet old man giving narration and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's a little tough for me to just be like, ooh, yeah, delicious. Gonna watch an Anthony Hopkins movie without feeling like, what are we doing?
I mean, both of these,
like Howard's End, however, he gives an incredible performance.
God. He's so good at that.
I wish we could talk about Merchant Ivory movies on Bloodhaus, but we cannot.
Let's do a spin-off podcast. I love Merchant Ivory movies too. Both of these performances are so iconic that it's hard not to like. I remember watching Longlegs and comparing Mika Monroe's performance to Jodie Foster's, because you just can't help it.
Yeah,
and it's not a very fair comparison for Micah, because Jodie Foster's so good in this.
She is so good. Her accent work is so good.
So good. That is a very spot on West Virginia accent.
I will say about Longlegs, and Oz Perkins has been very transparent and open that he was kind of like taking the skeleton of Silence of the Lambs because of how successful and popular it is as a movie, and transposing it onto something he'd already written to kind of like, get eyeballs on it. And I do feel like Kiernan Shipka's performance might, to a degree, be seen as a little bit of a Lambs parody to a degree, because the Southern accent she's doing is so overwrought.
Yeah, well, it's also not set in the South. It's set in Oregon. It's like, who is this girl? How did she get here? It feels so discordant. I really liked Longlegs. My friend who really hates Longlegs constantly still sends me text messages where he's like, remember the algorithm that is simply drawing a triangle?
Yeah.
Like about like the plot holes of Longlegs, of which, to be fair, there are a few.
I also have friends that fucking hated Longlegs, and they love to bring up Kiernan Shipka's performance, and they love to bring up the Lambs comparison and things like that. And you know what? That's nothing to me, because I enjoy Longlegs. I think it's very fun.
I liked it too.
And as someone
love the
who
aesthetic,
has issues with Lambs, it's honestly like really fun for me to be able to watch Longlegs and be like, woo!
Well, lots of people said that Longlegs was transphobic.
Not lots of people, a handful of loud people on Twitter, and they've all walked it back. That's not a thing anymore.
I mean, I got a talking to on Twitter from a couple of trans people where I was like, I actually don't think Longlegs is transphobic. And they're like, well, you're not trans. So it's like, okay, but I still get to have opinions on things. Like, sorry.
Well, I am, and it's not. So we've already had this discussion. We've already gone through this, and I will say it again. Longlegs is not transphobic. You are transphobic if you think the character of Longlegs is trans. Like, that is so much more safe. I think it's literally just the Silence of the Lambs of it all. I think people are so accustomed to the language of Silence of the Lambs and what Silence of the Lambs does with its character that people kept expecting that the whole time, and it never goes there.
I just never thought of trans people when I was watching Nicolas Cage in that movie. And then when I found out that these trans people thought it was transphobic, I was like, it makes me sad that you think so little of yourself that you were afraid that people would see that and think of you, because I just would never.
Yeah, exactly. And here's the other thing. I don't think transphobic people, like, I don't think J.K. Rowling maybe is watching Longlegs and thinking that
fucking ghoul.
That fucking ghoul who ruined an entire country. Fuck you, you absolute cunt. And I mean that in the American cunt. Way.
Yes, absolutely.
Anyway, Silence of the Lambs is very good. I can't wholeheartedly recommend it to people, but I do have, queer non-binary friends that like watch it every New Year's.
Me too.
So
I'll do a quick have they seen it for J.K. Rowling. I think that she went for Longlegs though. I think she went to Longlegs because she heard it might be transphobic and she was excited to.
She was like rubbing her little mitts together.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I know that she's seen Silence of the Lambs because she wrote a transphobic serial killer book under a like male pen name a few years ago.
Right, and then the books flopped, and then she was like, "Oh, it was me, J.K. Rowling," and then people bought the books.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like her. Yeah, she sucks.
And I will also say really quickly before we fully get into the kind of like end shuffle here, there's a lot of people talk about, well, it was 1991. We've come a long way since then. Like, the trans community is a lot larger, a lot louder, and people are more sensitive to this. There's no way Hollywood would do this again. And you know what? They have. Insidious Chapter 2, the fucking second X-Files movie, all doing this. All doing the exact same kind of transphobia that this movie's doing. So, no, they are still doing that frequently. And I will also say, Amelia Perez. So
Yeah.
Amelia Perez is the contemporary inheritor to this, because Amelia Perez is a trans woman and she's in contact with a trans woman. She's played by a trans woman, but she's also a serial killer.
Is she really?
She's the head of a cartel.
Oh, I had no idea. I didn't know what that movie was about at all, and I'll never see it because I saw that viral clip, which I was like, I cannot believe this is real. This feels like satire.
Yeah. Anyway, like, there's so many people that are like, but we're so far, like, that would never happen again. Like, we Driving Miss Daisy would never beat out Do the Right Thing like nowadays. That would never happen. Green Book beat out Black Klansman for Best Picture.
Yeah.
It happens again. Like, just because you are there doesn't mean we're there. So, like, it's very easy to pat yourself on the back and be like, we're done.
It's also a mistake to think that we can't go backwards on any of these issues, which
Exactly.
we do all the time. History is not a straight line, unfortunately. Well, let's play Have They Seen It? The game where we speculate wildly whether notable figures have seen this movie.
Wait, can we do an Can we just, because The Silence of the Lambs is such a big movie, can we do the opposite?
What is the opposite?
Can we play Have They Not Seen It?
Have they not seen it? Okay.
Because first of all, it's the fucking Silence of the Lambs. It's one of the biggest movies ever made. It's like in the IMDb top 10. Like, it's a movie that everyone, even people that don't like horror movies, even people who don't like movies, have seen. Like, it's one of the biggest Oscar winners ever. Have they not seen it?
So one thing that's toxic about me, among many, is that I love TV shows where people fix houses, like HGTV, and I could watch it for hours and have. The biggest stars of HGTV are Chip and Joanna Gaines. Yes, you're right. But I don't like them.
No, but Chip and Joanna Gaines are huge, and they're like mega producers now. They're producing other things.
Yeah. They have their own network, essentially, of home repair shows.
Oh, yeah, Magnolia.
Yeah. And a line at Target, Magnolia. Do you think that Chip and Joanna Gaines have not seen Silence of the Lambs?
This is going to be a weird one, but I'm going to say Chip Gaines hasn't and Joe has.
Ooh, really? I would go the opposite.
I'm going to say she's seen it and he hasn't.
Wow. When do you think that they saw it? I mean, they're just like a little bit, maybe like 5 years older than me, which makes them about 50. So that would put them like maybe in high school when this came out, or junior high.
I'm going to say she didn't see it in theaters, but I'm going to say she and friends rented it from a video store and watched it.
In like high school or college.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd buy that.
Yeah.
I'd buy that for $1. I just rewatched RoboCop.
I can tell. Also,
do you think either of them like this? Do you think that she would like it?
I can't see her bringing it up anytime soon, but in the same way that, like, you know, to mention that Brett Goldstein podcast, like, in the way that's like, oh, what's the scariest movie ever made? I feel like if someone asked her that, she would say The Silence of the Lambs, because I don't think she's seen anything scarier. You
know, horror is a weird one, because sometimes, like, I remember for the first time learning that Kate Blanchett loves horror movies in an interview, talking about how much she loves Evil Dead, and I was like, that's so surprising, but I've adopted that as something that I know about her. So, like, all kinds of different people love horror movies, and it's sometimes surprising.
Yeah.
Ooh. My boyfriend just sent me a text message. It's a screen grab from People magazine. You'll love it. I'm just reading it because it's relevant. Pedro Pascal blasts J.K. Rowling as, quote, heinous loser for her anti-trans views. Backs Harry Potter boycott. We love Pedro Pascal. That's like my celebrity crush.
I did see him on a red carpet recently wearing the Protect the Dolls t-shirt.
Yeah. Well, his sister's trans.
Yeah. I love him so much.
Heinous loser is so funny.
Yeah. I mean,
God bless.
It should be noted that he's currently on HBO's biggest show, and they're the one bankrolling her new fucking Harry Potter show.
Well, technically, I don't think they are, because the Harry Potter show is a Max original, which is siloed from HBO.
Fair.
But still. Yeah.
HBO and Max are the same company.
They're not, though. That's my point.
Yeah.
HBO is on Max streaming, but it's actually a separate company with separate leadership and executives.
Yes, but they have the same parent company run by David
do they?
Zaslav.
Oh, Warner Brothers?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that HBO was under Warner Brothers. Anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, she sucks. That's the point. And he's right.
And I'm mad at John Lithgow and Nick Frost for taking roles in her fucking show. Especially John Lithgow. Especially you were just in Conclave.
I can't believe it. All right, who do you got for me?
Well, so speaking of like streaming, this is someone who has been I feel like if Silence of the Lambs were to be remade today, this is an actress that would be like in talks to play the Clary Starling role.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it would be a horrible mistake because I don't think this is a talented actress at all. But someone that is like very much a darling of streaming age television and film, and gets a lot of work in that area and in this genre too. To the point that I feel like, you know, if somehow Netflix ended up with the rights to the Thomas Harris books, which I doubt because Dino De Laurentiis' family still owns the rights to them. Do you think, I feel like Netflix would try everything they can to get this person cast as Clary Starling. Do you think that Millie Bobby Brown has seen Silence of the Lambs?
No. I don't like her. Doesn't she? Isn't something about her really off-putting to you?
I mean, Winona Ryder hates her, so...
Well, that's all you need to know.
That's all you need to know. She also, like, famously in interviews is like, I don't watch movies. I can't, they're too long. I have to get on my phone.
She's also like married, isn't she? Isn't she like 19 and married or something? Which I can't judge because I'm a hillbilly, but like she should be too rich to be married at 19.
Yeah.
That's hillbilly stuff.
Well, it's also very much like, I remember there was like a period of time after Stranger Things first came out that like she kept posting about how like, oh, Drake is DMing me and now Drake's texting with me all the time and my buddy Drake and like and they were like having photos together and everyone was like, Drake is trying to groom this child.
That's so funny. And like, especially now that you think of Not Like Us being so popular. Do you know what Joel was grading? My partner, listener, if you don't know, is a teacher, and he was grading papers, and I heard him from the other room saying, gonna get a grade, and it's probably A-. Which is maybe the funniest thing he's ever said. Second funniest thing he's ever said. The other funniest thing he's ever said, which a bit problematic, is we were in Glendale, which if you don't know, is the largest population of Armenians on the planet outside of Armenia. There was a demented BMW coming towards us in a very dangerous way. And he goes, uh-oh, here come the car crashians. Which is like so funny.
I do think about that a lot. I think about that a lot. I was thinking about that a lot when I watched Sonora.
Yeah.
I live in Glendale, and it's Glendale drivers are notorious.
Terrible.
Terrifying. There's a very like famous viral video from like the Glendale Chamber of Commerce live feed that's like gone around about how they put in bike lanes recently, and when there was a vote to put in bike lanes, a like early 20s guy who was Armenian came in and was like speaking to the floor, and he was like, first of all, he was like reading off his phone that he's something in his notes app, and he was like, first of all, I'm the only young blood in here, all y'all are going to be dead in 50 years, so these streets belong to us. And then was talking about how Glendale's a racetrack, it always has been. If you try to put more bikes on the street, people are going to die.
This is our culture.
And it was like, he's like, we're going to kill him. And that's fine. And it was like, what the fuck?
Okay, have they not seen it? This person is a kind of a breakout star because she was just in White Lotus season 3 and was wonderful in it. Also from Sex Education, another streaming show. I'm thinking, of course, of Amy Lou Wood. I
love Amy
so
Lou
charming
Wood.
and adorable.
She's so talented.
Do you think she has not seen
loved her in Sex Education? I think she's seen Silence of the Lambs.
You think?
I think so. I think she's very smart. I think she's very cultured. And I think this is a very popular movie, even in England. especially in England. And I think especially like if you are an actress and you're looking at like great performances, Jodie Foster in this movie is like very high on the list. And also I feel like if you're working on a show with Gillian Anderson for that many years, you're gonna get a lot of recommendations from Gillian Anderson.
True. Okay, well, what about Patrick Schwarzenegger then?
I feel like he probably has seen this, but maybe not so definitely. I did see an interview with him where someone asked him if he's seen many of his dad's movies, and he was like, only the biggest ones. He was like, I don't feel the need to go see my dad's movies. And he was also like, my dad growing up with him is such a cornball that like he will tell you the plot of his movie even if you don't ask. He will like quote his own lines around the house to you all the time.
That's
so he was
cute.
like, I don't need that.
He's in a lot of movies.
He's in a lot of movies, yeah. The interviewer was like, but have you seen Last Action Hero? And he was like, no. And the interviewer was like, it's good though. You would like it. I'm like, don't make this man watch his dad's flops. Don't do that. That's stupid. Also, like, I know we're reclaiming a lot of movies that were flops at the time. And yes, that's very good. Cutthroat Island is great. People should go watch Cutthroat Island. But like, we can fucking leave that one alone. Like, no one, Last Action Hero is not that great. Marathon Man's not Marathon Man. Oh my god, The Running Man's not that great.
Running Man. I think The Running Man is fun.
What's the one with the 3 seashells with Sylvester Stallone? Is that Running Man?
God only knows. No, Running Man's a sci-fi one.
This was also a sci-fi one. It's like Sylvester Stallone gets like sent to the future. He's like an LA cop who accidentally gets like cryogenically frozen and wakes up in the future, and he's got to hunt down Wesley Snipes. And the future's all different, and there's a lot of jokes about it. And Rob Schneider is there, and Sandra Bullock is there. And he tries to like use the bathroom in the future, and instead of toilet paper, there's just 3 seashells. And he's like, "What the fuck you do? What?
Is it Escape Plan?
No, it's from the 90s.
Expendables? I don't know. I've never seen any of these movies.
Oh my god, what the fuck is that called? Demolition Man.
Oh, Demolition Man.
Yeah. A lot of those have been like reclaimed recently, and I'm like, no, we don't need to be doing this.
You don't have to do all that.
We don't have to be doing this. Like, you can admit that they're trashy and fun. That's great, but we don't need to like be writing video essays on the brilliance of like Last Action Hero. We don't need to be doing that. We're fine.
I can't stand that shit. That's like so Gen X to be like, actually, this trashy movie is the best movie ever made.
It's very Gen X, and I'm a little sick of it. Yeah, I don't think I think Patrick Schwarzenegger has seen it.
I think so too.
I would say if there's anyone from the cast of Sex Education that has not White Lotus, but Sex Education that hasn't seen it is the guy who's playing Doctor Who now from Sex Education. Nkuti Gatwa.
Oh, yeah.
I would say he probably hasn't seen Silence of the Lambs, but I feel like most anyone else on that cast may have. Yeah. I just don't see him spending the time, which is fine. So I'm gonna take a different route for have they not seen it with someone,
which is the same game inexplicably.
Yeah,
but whatever.
Who's currently not alive anymore and is an older star, but was alive in 1991 because he lived until the year 1997. Do you think that Jimmy Stewart has seen Silence of the Lambs? And do you think that Jimmy Stewart would go around the house during the, oh wait, was she a raping fat person? Oh wait.
Jimmy Stewart's impression of Buffalo Bill is like a new level of demented.
Wait. You want me to lasso you the moon? Or wait. We'll go fly down the moon. Hearth fires and holocausts. I got that vertigo.
I think that Jimmy Stewart did see this.
Really?
Because of like union stuff.
Oh yeah.
and have your, for your consideration kind of stuff. I think he would have really disliked it though for being so dark.
Yeah, I think if this was too violent for Michelle Pfeiffer and Gene Hackman, I think this is too violent for fucking Jimmy Stewart.
Also, Gene Hackman saying this is too violent. Like, what's he on? He's been in a ton of violent
He made
movies.
French Connection.
I know.
Well, and he was so Gene Hackman was originally going to direct this movie and then also play the Scott Glenn role.
Right.
Like, I'm glad he didn't, because Jonathan Demme did a better job, I think, than Gene Hackman would have. But like, dude, what? Like,
come on.
Have you seen your CV? You're in Unforgiven.
I know. Just feels like so demented and whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for listening to this episode of Bloodhaus. Please rate it 5 stars wherever you listen to podcasts. You can email us at bloodhousepod@gmail.com or follow us on Instagram. Drusilla, where can people ride their goodbye horses? I don't know. Where I should have tried to play your game.
It's a lot harder than it looks.
Where can people follow you?
You can find me and my work over at sisterhidedesign.com. I've got a lot of new work out there. Go check that out. You can also follow me on Letterboxd at sisterhide or Drusilla Adeline. Follow me on there. And you can also follow me on Instagram and Blue Sky at Sister Hyde. What about you, Josh? How can people find you through their night vision goggles?
I'm at Joshua Conkel on Blue Sky, Letterboxd, and Instagram. And next week, we are going back into the trenches of obscurity.
Oh, I'm so excited. Get us out of popular cinema.
What are we watching next week?
Oh my god. Oh, I'm so fucking revved up. We're watching an art film. It's from the 60s. It's not in English. It's got subtitles. It's in black and white. It's surrealist. It's from Japan. It's in the Criterion Collection. It's written by Kobo Abe. It's directed by Hiroshi Teshigahara. And motherfucker, it's called Pitfall. And y'all are gonna fucking love it. It's streaming on the Criterion channel. Go watch it this week. We're gonna talk about it next week. Do your homework and you'll thank us later.
I can't wait. I can't wait to do my homework. Bye, everyone. See ya.